Previously on Become the Night.
I think they intentionally do not try very hard so that they will get things wrong, so that people are more likely to click on their videos and leave comments about how wrong they are. It is all a money generating machine. That's all it is. So today's lesson is never, ever, ever watch a Watchmojo video.
Hey, you know who lives in this house? A great big phony!
And now, the conclusion.
Yes, I did say I would never cover these again, and I am breaking that word. Why? Because sponsor money. Also, never watch the original video. And speaking of sponsor money, that reminds me. A message from today's sponsor, Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force is a mobile squad RPG where you battle with your favorite Marvel heroes and villains. Fight to save the universe against threats like Doctor Doom or Apocalypse. Power up your favorite characters to compete in missions, unlock gear and other resources, and beat other players in PvP modes such as Alliance War and Real-Time Arena. Play with characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America. With over 276 characters to collect, you'll find even deep-cut characters like Yondu, Toad, or War Machine. Synergize your hero and villain squads for maximum impact during 5v5 battles and vanquish the greatest villains of the Marvel Universe. Marvel Strike Force is celebrating their 6-year anniversary, and they want to throw a party for you guys. Completing the milestones grants you gold and training items on top of a new Nick Fury costume. And receive a grand prize when you complete each weekly event and earn the weekly anniversary item. Just by logging in, you receive a bonus gift containing character shards, an anniversary diamond orb, gear, and more. If you're a new user, download Marvel Strike Force and enter the promo code MSF6 for 310 Deadpool shards, 500 power cores, and 5 premium orbs. If you've already played the game, use promo code NIGHT, that's NIGHT, to receive 15 Nightcrawler shards, 500 power cores, and 5 premium orbs. Just click the link in the description, enter the promo code, and receive your gifts today. Again, new users use code MSF6, and existing users use code NIGHT, N-I-G-H-T. Huge thanks to Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring this video, and congratulations to them for 6 years. All right. Back to the video. 20 most insane guitar shredders. What's the criteria for measuring most insane guitar shredders? I have no idea. Is it the number of teenage virgins who worship them? We could actually probably measure that to some degree. I don't know. Let's take a listen.
Welcome to Watchmojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most dizzyingly talented.
Apparently we're having our video narrated by Xavier Renegade Angel.
Hello? 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 Who's this? Who's this? I'm asking the questions.
Hello, welcome to Baskin Robbins. What can I get for you? I'll take a sundae! Sundae! Welcome to Denny's, sir. What would you like to eat? I would like a super slam! Dude can relax off of the radio voice affect a little bit.
Talented 6-string wizards in the world.
It's exactly like Xavier Renegade Angel.
6-string wizards in the world.
Paramedic.
Snake, what's wrong?
I've encountered some kind of cave demon.
It's him.
Number 20, Eric Johnson. Let's face it, a lot of shred guitarists with immense talent don't also earn a commercially viable hit single to their name. Then again, not every guitar player out there is Eric Johnson.
I just want to slap him when he talks. Just by popularity alone, I can understand why he has to be in the conversation and arguably on the list. But as we're about to see, I think there's a fine reason to also not include him on this list. So here's a clip that they're going to play of Cliffs of Dover, which is an amazing song. Awesome and delicious. One of the best ways to intro a song ever. Disgusting. Everyone loves it. Everybody loves it.
Granted, the Texas native may always be associated with the Grammy Award-winning instrumental Cliffs of Dover, but is that
I won a Grammy? Sick. I'm happy it did. It deserves a Grammy.
really a bad thing? We don't think so, at least not when we're taking into account Johnson's smooth, soulful playing.
And they play a clip from yet the exact same song, the only one that everyone knows. Do you have an example of his smooth, soulful playing from another song?
Let's put it this way. No.
I don't know. I'm very doubtful you're going to find one that anyone has any interest in listening to, because I certainly couldn't find one. But here we go.
The Axeman actually cut his teeth with some extremely heavy blues-based rock with the group Mariani before venturing into
The group Mariani. Holy crap, it's a VH1 45 classic countdown.
Gladiator. Oh, that is some album art right there, ladies and gentlemen. Holy moly.
Look ahead, what are the chances?
Yep, sucks.
before venturing into jazz fusion territory with electromagnets. What's constant about Eric Johnson's playing, however? Class. Pure class.
Oh, ugh. What pandering, teethless, meaningless dog shit.
What's great about Eric Johnson's playing? Class. Pure class.
Taylor Swift will find a husband before this man finds a personality. And again, the last clip, yet another clip from Cliffs of Dover. It's all Cliffs of Dover, which is like, okay, does Eric Johnson actually belong on this list if he had like one awesome song and the rest of it is mediocre? He's a great player, but his songwriting is really fucking bland. And frankly, his playing isn't even that exciting. It's just kind of like, oh, it was nice.
Number 19. Sinister Gates. The music is
The voice.
Number 19. Sinister Gates.
I called you, and you sound like the ugliest son of a bitch I ever heard. You sound like the physical manifestation of some loser's inner demons.
The inflection is so just like, can I put you out of my misery, please?
of Avenged Sevenfold is all about excess 100% of the time. And this
He's not 100% about excess all the fucking time.
Like, what a dumbass statement that shows you really have no idea what you're talking about at all. Some of the other people on this list are, and you didn't say that about them. Sinister Gates is actually known for the opposite of that, which is having very good taste while also integrating a shitload of notes. That's very difficult to do sometimes. Does Sinister Gates belong on this list? Yeah, it depends upon what criteria you're using. I mean, I have a ton of respect for him, and I think he's an outstanding soloist. But considering who else we're putting up against on here, I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I might be able to be argued in favor of it.
This aim is easier to achieve when you have Sinister Gates on guitar. This California kid shreds like there's no tomorrow, evoking fond memories of the much-missed Alexei Laiho from Children of Bodom. Well,
Okay, is that a thing? If that's a thing, I have no idea, because I do not associate Alexei Laiho and Sinister Gates at all. They do not play the same to me or phrase the same to me. Let me know in the comments if I missed something.
while also possessing a style all his own. Neoclassical runs can certainly be found within Gates' six-string arsenal, but the guitarist
Okay, what a sentence. Neoclassical runs can certainly be found within Sinister Gates' six-string arsenal. That is the most long, non-poetic, freaking faux intellectual way of saying sometimes he plays neoclassical licks. There you go. Sometimes he plays neoclassical licks. Are you trying to friggin' bulk out the wording on this essay just so you can hit the page limit? Because it sounds like you're trying to hit the page limit.
Additionally, Gates' approach to his instrument swings with a confidence that's born from knowing exactly how good he is and what kind of musical heights he can scale.
Citation? What are you talking about? Where are you getting this? Has he said that? Is there like a way to measure this objectively, or are you just making dumb shit up for the sake of something sounding mildly impressive? For the uninitiated to think that they actually learned something, which you did not teach anyone anything.
Number 18, Sean Lane.
Okay, unironically, was not expecting this pick. That's a really cool pick. In the world of actually underrated guitar virtuosos, I would say Sean Lane might be the most underrated. Hard to say. I have a tier list video I've been working on for a while called Guitar Virtuosos, and I keep putting it off just because I am way too verbose and I don't want this to be like a 40-minute video that's highly edited. It's gonna be so obnoxious. And I had to really debate with myself whether or not to include Sean Lane, because on one hand, he is an incredible talent with something I think somewhat unique, frankly. Something really worth particular admiration of his skill. But then on the other hand, almost no one really knows about Sean Lane. And it's like, but like influence has to be a factor at some point. So if you're going to include a Sinister Gates who could not compete with Sean Lane. And it's not an insult to Sinister Gates. He's written some great stuff. I really like a lot of his solos, and he's exceedingly talented. But like, I don't think he could compete with a Sean Lane. But then on the same front, Sinister Gates has helped level up so many more guitarists than Sean Lane. And again, I love Sean Lane, but he has helped and influenced way less guitarists to become better guitarists and guided the sound of metal or guitar. So if you're going to include Sinister Gates, I don't know if we could really put Sean Lane on here, but if you're going to put Sean Lane on here, I don't know if we can really include Sinister Gates. I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for me. It's hard to get the criteria of what they're actually measuring this by, other than, again, the amount of virgin teenage guitarists who worship them and S30s.
That's because this session guitarist was something of a musician's musician, a natural who's clearly a master of his instrument. Lane's
Okay, something that I would say, while not hyper specific of a statement, actually is a decent statement. Thank you, Watchmojo, for not being exclusively cringe.
skills were off the charts and always seemed to make whoever he was backing at the time sound better and closer to greatness.
The prosody of this narrator's voice is the worst. It's just like you want to shake him and be like, do you have a personality? Is there an honest bone in your body?
Star, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and more all benefited from Lane's speed and precision, but fans shouldn't
Okay, one of those things where it doesn't say a lot about Sean Lane, but I'm fine that he included it because you're actually helping people understand who he was qualified to play for, and that means something.
sleep on the man's tone and performance either. Sean Lane
Tone
could,
is really good.
quite frankly, do it all and do it with style.
Ugh.
Sean Lane could, quite frankly, do it all. Like,
Number 17, Akira Takasaki.
Never heard of that, and also it's Akira Takasaki. Akira Takasaki.
not Takasaki.
Number 17, Akira Takasaki.
Never heard of this person.
There are a number of musical chameleons out there, able to adapt to practically any style.
Musical chameleons able to adapt to any style. I'm gonna call bullshit on that, but let's look him up. Akira Takasaki. 63 years old. Okay. All right. Eddie Van Halen. Cool. Okay, so while I would call that a little sloppy on the attack, I think that's actually for effect. I think that's cool. He's about to do the Michelangelo Badio No More Boundaries lick. Okay. That's the guy right there. That's the lick. That 3-string arpeggio, and then with the extra pinky at the end, so you get 4 notes total. Not mind blown yet. Okay, definitely on the sloppy territory. That's literally the end of Eruption, right here. Different tuning, but the same chords and the same chord shapes. Yeah, I'm not really impressed with any of this phrasing, and frankly, the longer he goes, the more I'm like, nah, he might actually just be sloppy. I'm not saying he's a bad guitarist, because he's obviously very good, but like, should he be included on this list? No.
Are you inferring my credibility is questionable?
Yes. Yeah, I think it actually is told completely through the prosody of your voice. You are not qualified to rank these people at all.
Number 16, George Lynch.
Okay, I can definitely see that.
The 1980s hair metal has historically been defined by its style, but the music of bands such as Dokken were absolutely not devoid of substance.
So they were absolutely or 100% not absent something. Yeah, technically, if there's 1% of something, it's not 100% absent of something. Good job, Watchmojo.
The most epic way of actually kind of being a backhanded compliment.
Level of musicianship from artists like George Lynch, whose aggressive approach to guitar contrasted brilliantly with Don Dokken's smooth, silky voice.
Contrasted with Don Dokken's smooth, silky voice.
And then they have like the cheesiest, most mundane fucking chorus of all time. I want to hear George Lynch play with this fucking dude. I want to hear George Lynch shred fills in between every vocal line.
Peace at last, fade to green.
This is the greatest music video you have never seen. You need to see it. Asia Valkyrie music video. You're welcome. In the 80s, before Eddie Van Halen left all the other guys behind in terms of influence, there were 3 guys. It was George Lynch, it was Randy Rhoads, and it was Eddie Van Halen. Those were the guys who were changing guitar. And then we found out who left the biggest imprint out of all of them. But George Lynch was included on there and still is absolutely insane. Next up.
Number 14.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it so much. On the chapters, they have it spelled W-I-L-D. Well done, Watchmojo. Does Zakk Wylde belong on this list? I would argue no. I absolutely love Zakk Wylde. I think he has written some awesome riffs. He does this great blending of that southern rock with just metal boy style in this kind of badass way. And he's written some of my favorite solos. He is undeniably an awesome guitar player. But I don't know, like mixing a Sinister Gates and a Zakk Wylde on the same list as we will see Tom McLaughlin and Steve Vai. I'm like, this is not compatible.
Wylde's penchant for pinched harmonics,
pinch harmonies,
is taken straight from the John Sykes playbook of that guitarist's work with Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake.
Whoa. John Sykes was in Thin Lizzy? No shit, I didn't know he was in Thin Lizzy. Wow, that's awesome. I don't remember there being that many pinch harmonics from John Sykes, but fair enough. Maybe I wasn't paying that close attention. We've got to keep moving here. I don't think he should be on the list, but I do love him.
Number 13. Jeff Loomis.
Okay.
Metal fans seeking technical wizardry and riff savagery need look no further than the amazing work of Jeff Loomis.
The worst thing about Jeff Loomis is his productions and mixes, and they aren't unlistenable, but they're not fabulous. I would say a lot of times, especially in the Nevermore era, this is a little rough. But Jeff Loomis is undeniably fabulous. Like, in some ways, he reminds me of Dream Theater or Symphony X, but then in other ways, he reminds me of more, well, trad thrash metal, or like a Zakk Wylde, or like a Pantera, you know? Like, I think he hits that line in between really interestingly. He still has some of that more heady kind of writing and expression while still having that very caveman brutality. And obviously, you know, phrasing off the charts, articulation off the charts. Anyway, I think that Jeff Loomis should be on this list. Let's move forward.
Number 12, Tosin Abasi. The list of legendary guitar players is miles long.
Shut up. Stop talking. Should Tosin Abasi be on this list? I would argue no. It's not because he isn't amazing, and it's not because he hasn't had a, relatively to every other guitar player who's ever existed, large impact on guitar playing. The thing that separates Tosin Abasi from every other player on this list is decades of time to see how much it has actually lasted. Where's the staying power? And to qualify this, yes, I think Tosin Abasi has actually innovated on the guitar in a really cool way that a bunch of other people have utilized. And also, I think he's a fabulous player, undeniably amazing. My only gripe would be to give it like another 5 years before we could really solidly know if he belongs in a top 20 and where to put him on a top 20. That's the only thing I would say, like 5 to 10 years. Wait it out, have a little bit of patience, a little bit of prudence. And I would say the same thing for like a Jason Richardson as well. Especially with fucking Akira Toriyama, whoever the fuck this guy was. Akira Tap Maisaki. Boot that motherfucker out of here, no offense, and put on Jason Richardson. I guarantee there are more people who know who Jason Richardson is than Akira Takasaki. And he probably beats the fucking shit out of Akira Takasaki when it comes to playing guitar. The thing that they should have included is the fact that Tosin Abasi, yeah, he has his own unique guitar style. Where did that come from? It came from Victor Wooten, actually, weirdly enough. He took Victor Wooten's thumb thing that he does on the bass. I don't know exactly what it is. I've never looked that far into it. All right, moving to the next one.
Number 11, The Great Cat.
Again, The Great Cat with a K, I'm assuming is the correct spelling. The Great Cat with a C. Watchmojo really cares about your community. The credibility of their lists is excellent. You can tell because they're very diligent with their work.
tremolo picking, pinch harmonies.
I'm happy we can laugh at this together.
Subtlety, restraint, these words mean absolutely nothing to the Great Cat.
The words The Great Cat mean absolutely nothing to almost everyone. Again, with Akira Lakasaki over here, I have never heard of this person. And frankly, as we're about to see, I have seen nothing that makes them particularly insane, innovative, even neat, other than the visuals. Like, that's cool. That's a cool moment of arrangement. Does a good arrangement make someone an insane guitarist? No.
In fact, this British shred guitar legend would probably much rather see you groveling at her feet, singing praises to the great cat's all-consuming greatness. It's true that...
Yeah, it sounds awful. Either way, look, I have no like or dislike of the great cat. I literally know nothing about her. But that being the case, she almost certainly should not belong on this list. Look, I've been in this shred guitar thing for a hot second. I highly doubt with someone with such an obnoxious showmanship that I would have missed that somewhere. I get some of the most obscure shit that people ask me to listen to because they think it's like wild and awesome. And this has never until this shitty video come across my notice. I'm gonna say, nah, she doesn't belong on the list.
Number 10, Marty Friedman. This guitarist may have first impressed audiences with his work in thrash metal leaders Megadeth, but Marty Friedman has continued to release manic instrumental music.
This man's voice is intolerable. Okay, yeah, I would say Marty Friedman does belong on the list. He has the influence by the reach of Megadeth, but that influence has actually like sat in and done something because he actually has something really intangibly special. Truly and honestly. The thing that's so weird to me is watching his fret hand as he's playing. It looks like the most awkward, uncomfortable thing imaginable to me. I'm like, how is he doing what he... But it sounds awesome, so I'm like, great, good job. I would love to be able to pick apart what actually makes Marty Friedman special, and I don't exactly know how to do it. Like, full disclosure, he's not one of my favorites, but that doesn't mean anything. You can still listen to something and be like, that's just undeniably great, even though it's not something I personally seek out. So just based upon that loose observation, anecdotally from me, I would say he belongs on this list. And based upon, again, my own anecdotes of these discussions, I doubt that most people would disagree with me. But I don't know. Disagree with me in the comments. I dare you.
Number 9, Paul Gilbert's irreverent humor.
I would also say yes. Don't just stop talking. Just stop talking. Watchmojo. You have already dug way too deep of a hole for yourself. I am merely saving you from yourself at this point. Yeah, I think Paul Gilbert definitely belongs on this list. Top 10, I don't know. I don't know about that. But when it comes to guitar players, they're almost certainly going to know about Paul Gilbert. The man is a shred expert. He is a shred meister. He has, again, his own unique taste on how he attacks with the pick on his alternate picking. And I'd say the alternate picking thing is one of his identifiable portions. But then also you have some angular and never quite heard before phrasing between his pick attack and his legato. His legato is also interesting too, frankly. The other thing I would say about Paul Gilbert that separates him from a lot of other people is you hear a really interesting evolution over time of his style as a soloist and his style as a writer. And that is something that is not ubiquitous across shredders. A lot of them kind of stick to their thing and keep recycling their thing over and over and over again. Again, he's not one of my favorites. I still have immense respect for him, and there's still songs of his I actually put on to this day. One that you've probably never heard before that you should check out. This boy right here, let the computer decide. Cool drum intro. That is a sick lick. So sick. now let the drums groove with it. Here, let's listen to this really quick. Right here. You need to check out the whole song. Syncopation on this track is delish.
Number 8, Joe Satriani.
Oh. Say that one more time, Watchmojo.
Number 8, Joe Satriani.
Oh, fuck. First we got Takasaki, now we got Satriani.
Spending all this time with my outstanding radio voice, and I can't even be bothered to learn how to fucking pronounce someone's name correctly.
And he also lives in town. I doubt Rob Trujillo. Yes, Joe absolutely belongs on this list. He is one of the most influential virtuoso guitarists out there. And while he is not the most interesting or innovative as far as the shreddiness of stuff, although he definitely is to some degree, it is his phrasing and his articulation that has made it so accessible for someone who isn't into guitar music to leap into it and be like, man, this is just really cool. This is just really freaking cool. And start to perceive things not from a voice and lyric perspective, but from an actual musical perspective. When we take away the semantic of the definitions of words, what do we have left? Well, music. We have music left, and it still has meaning. And God bless Joe Satriani. Let's get a little Satriani. Petrucci. God bless Joe Satriani for introducing that to people who otherwise wouldn't access it. I'm so thrilled about that.
Number 7, Jason Becker. The story of Jason Becker.
All right, look, so from a popular appeal standpoint, it makes perfect sense why they picked Jason Becker and why they put him so high on the list. But other than the fact that he sounded really cool for a few years, what other argument can you give me in favor of Jason Becker being on this list? Because as we're about to listen to here,
is a complex one. One man's determined defiance in the face of overwhelming odds.
No, okay, that's not accurate. For him as like a human being, yes. As a guitar player, no.
Since then, the guitarist has fought a battle with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, losing his ability to speak, walk, and play guitar in the
Okay, so is this something very worthy of note and respect? Yes, absolutely. However, he can't fucking play guitar. So are we measuring him based upon his ability to play guitar and to actually grow over time? Or are we measuring the pity that we have for an insane talent who lost all of it and didn't lose all of it because of any of his own choices? It was just a bad roll of the dice, which deprived him and frankly all of humanity of something exceedingly beautiful. That is a tragedy. I fully agree. However, your feelies about this does not trump objective measurements, which we cannot measure anything other than what he's actually played, which isn't that much compared to anyone on this list. So from that standpoint, it's like, okay, I can see maybe like an honorable mention for sure, and I kind of do that on my own tier list. And by the way, I have more respect for Jason Becker than I do anyone on this list. Let's get that real fucking chill real quick. All of the pain I've ever experienced in my life probably doesn't add up to one day of pain for him. I am very starkly aware of that. But just because we feel bad for someone does not mean that we should give up objective measurements. I don't think that's a good idea for a society. I don't know that he actually belongs on this list, even though, again, exceeding admiration for him. And while he was playing, he was really fucking cool and interesting. And there was something you could pick out about his playing, especially with the articulation. I could also be wrong on this. I am willing to be shown wrong or proved wrong or whatever. I'm not holding firmly to this. I just want to make sure I am clear. Just because he had a tragedy happen to him does not mean he belongs on the list. That's all I'm saying.
Number 6, John Petrucci.
Okay, obviously, heavily biased. Love John Petrucci. He's one of my favorites. He's in my top 3 guitarists. Does he belong this high on the list? In my opinion, yes, but again, I am extremely biased. I would love to know your guys' thoughts. You guys already know so many of my thoughts on John Petrucci. I feel like I don't even need to go any further. I'm not upset with where he's placed.
Number 5, Buckethead.
No. Absolutely fucking not. No Buckethead at number 5. Like, if we're going to include the internet memes that are Sinister Gates and Zakk Wylde, look, they got talent, but I'm saying they're here because of their look and their stage presence, not exclusively because of their writing. If we're going to have that as some type of measure, as if that does anything to your guitar playing whatsoever, yes, sure, include Buckethead to a degree, but number 5, fuck No. The man has the staying power of a teenage Greenpeace activist. And yes, if I released 6 albums a year that almost no one knew about, I would have 1 or 2 good songs every year as well, which frankly, he doesn't even have that many every year. Most of his albums are just random bullshit. It's literally just random bullshit. So little effort put into anything. He really is riding, one, on the fact that he has come up with some interesting, cool ways of articulating things. I'll give him that. But he's also riding on the fact that he has that fucking bucket and mask. Like, okay, cool. Not gonna crap on a man for giving himself an image and some type of brand. As a matter of fact, I think it's kind of fun, especially for the early 2000s when he was lighting things up. But staying power? Who the fuck talks about Buckethead? No one talks about fucking Buckethead. And it's mostly because no one actually gives a shit about the music he makes. He does not belong on this fucking list. Maybe as an honorable mention, and if you're gonna have stage presence involved with it, put him down at the fucking bottom. But certainly not number 5.
Number 4, Michelangelo Badio.
No! Absolutely not! He is all precision when it comes to cleanliness of form. And he is all show when it comes to just being very fast and going under and over the fretboard and doing both necks. Okay, that's neat. That is super neat. But that does not actually improve the musicality. That is stuff that you worked on in order to have the appearance of being very musically proficient with your eyes, but it doesn't add up in your ears, which is why you don't actually sell records. I'm not trying to talk shit on Michelangelo Badio. I actually like some of his stuff. I think it's fun. I admire the fact that he has held the record for speed and the fact that he has done so while being insanely clean. That is something that is very remarkable and worthy of note. But number 4, eat my ass. I could see him below number 10. I could see that, just not number 4.
Number 3, Eddie Van Halen.
Okay, Eddie Van Halen obviously needs to be on this list, but number 3? Who is above Eddie Van Halen? In a guitar virtuoso thing, where we are also obviously to some degree measuring stage presence and lasting influence, who in the fuck is above Eddie Van Halen? I've talked for a lot about Eddie Van Halen, and I have a whole video that I did for him in honor of his passing a few years ago. Please go watch that if you want to know just how insane his contribution was. I don't think I can justify having anyone above Eddie Van Halen on this list. But let's see.
Number 2, Steve Vai. Steve Vai.
Oh, okay. This puts me in a really weird position because on one hand, I would love to actually talk to Steve Vai once in my life, like actually have a proper conversation, not just a meet and greet ass bullshit. But no, I don't think Steve Vai belongs above Eddie Van Halen. And Steve Vai is my favorite guitarist. That is, no qualifiers, is my favorite guitarist. Steve Vai taught me how to speak with my guitar. He's the one who introduced that concept to me of making it actually have a voice that gets closer to human speech that I find so admirable and just mesmerizing. Could Steve Vai outplay Eddie Van Halen? In most degrees, I would probably say yes, but what does that mean to the greater contribution to society? I think Eddie Van Halen had a way more important contribution to society, and that is very easily borne out. But this begs the question, who's left for number 1? My number 1 was already put at number 2, and the objective number 1 was already put at number 3. What is next?
Number 1, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Absolutely fucking not! Okay, so the evidence is in. It is only measured by the number of virgin teen guitar players who vote, because Yngwie holds the number 1 spot on that one. Steve Vai has more versatility. Eddie Van Halen has more versatility. A number of Yngwie Malmsteen's techniques wouldn't exist without Eddie Van Halen. Michelangelo Badio has better speed, better cleanliness, and more versatility. Buckethead has way more personality than Yngwie Malmsteen. The only thing that Yngwie Malmsteen has over Buckethead is his vibrato. John Petrucci could write and play fucking circles around Yngwie. And in a speed contest, they would at least be equal, and John Petrucci would definitely be cleaner than Yngwie fucking Momstein. Jason Becker has, well, I would say everything that's important to being a good person better than Yngwie Malmsteen. This is just the worst fucking number one. Of course, the man with the largest ego and the man who hits the stereotype right on the bullseye is the one that gets the number one spot on insane guitar shredders. It's a farce. This whole list is a fucking farce. Wipe the board. This video never happened. If you want to watch me shit on Watchmojo some more, check out this video here. You'll get a good laugh. I know that I did. Maybe. I don't remember. Here it is. Love you guys. Mwah.